manifestation room.
Thank you, ladies. And I am Monique Ruffin. I am the Moon Mama, and I am a facilitator here at Progressive Love, and I facilitate this moon manifestation initiation, the 13 moon initiations. And we are excited to be here this evening to talk about this program that we're going to be working on and initiating for this entire year, the benefits of it, how the moon makes the difference in our lives, how we can create new relationship with it through new practices, tools, rituals, understanding to literally begin to create the lives that we desire and live the lives that we're born to live. So welcome this evening. I want you to know that this program, this 13, I'm going to mute everyone here. This 13 moon initiation is copywritten. And so the information that we are going to be sharing with you tonight was created by Rakim Sekou. It's an incredible system, and it's not like any other moon system out there. So we just like to let you know that this is copywritten information, and we're also very excited to share it with you. And we're also very excited at the possibility of you coming to work with us so that we can assist you in living the lives and really birthing the goddess within you, because that's what this work really does. It opens you up and births the goddess within you. So ladies, let's get started. I'm going to unmute Christine. It's not letting me unmute you.
Oh, I got it.
And Cheryl. So the benefits of the mysteries of the 13 moon and the manifestation system. So the most incredible thing about the moon that we get to understand and learn several things. First of all, that we are 90% water. The planet is 90% water, 70 to 90% water, and as people, we are 90% water, and our brains are 80% water. And so the moon is the planetary body that governs the waters on the planet, actually pulls the water. So I don't know if you remember when you were a teenager, ladies, Christine and Cheryl, how your moods went. If you had a lot of mood swings and things like that. I know that I certainly did. And I was up one minute and down the next. And if I had known that the moon was responsible for that as a teenager, and not, the fact that I couldn't get what I wanted, or the fact that, some boy or young man was pissing me off and not giving me what I wanted, or whatever it was, if I would have known that the moon was really what was going on, that would have changed everything for me. How about you all?
Oh, for sure. I mean, first of all, I'm a Cancer. I'm ruled by the moon. And that was managing emotions and just like the shifts in mood when I was younger. That was so challenging for me. But I really, I didn't completely get it. I didn't completely realize, how affected we are by these things.
Yeah.
I didn't either. And I'm a sibling of 12. And so not only was I influenced by the moon in my own strong currents, right? But the people around me, my siblings and my parents, and they were also being pulled. And so it really played into patterns and dynamics that were happening, that if I had understood now what I know about the moon cycle, I would have been able to interrupt or shift, right? Course correct some of those things that got laid so early in my process, right?
Yeah, that's good. I can hear you much better with that microphone.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's okay. No, it's fine. And so one of the other things that we don't know about the moon is that the moon really governs our psychic abilities and our intuitive powers. And the reason that it does is because it rules our emotions, our feelings. And so oftentimes when we're getting hits about things, I remember when I was younger, I could wake up in the morning and feel terror in my body and knew that something bad was going to happen in the day. And had I understood that the moon was like giving me a signal in my body, it's like the water in my body was heating up or something like that, that I was actually being directed, I would have had another way to deal with it. But the moon governs our psychic and our intuitive powers. How does that show up in you guys in your life, Christine? And
I noticed that during different phases, what I have access to is different. You know, it's different aspects of psychic awareness happen during the different phases of the moon.
yeah.
Yeah, I have the same process. Sometimes I'm really open and in tune, and I can really feel that I'm in a flow, right? I'm in synchronicity. And then sometimes I'm not, and I'm required to do a little extra aligning and checking in to see what's going on, depending on where we are with the moon, for sure. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for that. One of the other things that I find to be really incredible about, so I've been following the moon for about 10 years, like doing this specific work for 10 years. And it has changed the way I relate to my body because, of course, the moon governs our cycles, our ovulation. It is the power within us that allows us to create, that allows us to call, to be impregnated with a physical being or to be impregnated with a desire or a passion or a creation of ours. And this initiation will assist each and every one of us in really learning how to find our own energetic flow with the moon that is within us and the cycles of the moon so that we can create, so that we can have magic in our lives. I mean, the magic that I have in my life from working with the moon is something that's kind of otherworldly. Like, it's almost like I'm tapped into everything and everyone. Like, for instance, I remember one time when I first started working with the moon and I was going through a divorce and I had, like, my whole life had kind of come undone. And I didn't have any money and my son was really hungry and I had like a little bit of food left. And I remember thinking, okay, he was asking, he was like, I need a fruit smoothie. And I had just like a little bit of food, like I had a banana and some strawberries and some blueberries and enough milk to make him a smoothie. But that was what I usually gave him in the morning time. So I knew that if I was giving it to him that night, that we wouldn't have any in the morning, right? So I just agreed. I was like, okay, I'm going to give it to him. But then I did a little prayer like, okay, Moon Mama, I prayed to the moon and then like, help me with this. And within 5 minutes after making him the smoothie, a girlfriend of mine called and she said, hey, I'm at Whole Foods. Do you need anything? Out of the blue. and that is the magic of learning how to use the moon. It steps in when you need it.
Yes, for sure.
And
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we have to remember too is that some of this knowledge has been lost. There were centuries where women were killed, burned at the stake for this kind of knowledge. And so there is kind of a collective fear around it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Especially where it keeps us in tune, right, with our own evolution. The phases of the moon offer us different ways to turn within and see ourselves. And when we're able to do that, we can consciously make changes. And when we consciously make changes, we become powerful. We become sovereign. And that is a scary situation for our collective oftentimes, especially as women, or just being that aligned in our feminine energy. And that's how when I turned to working with the system about 7 years ago, I was already a spiritually aspirant woman. I was already on this path. And then I stepped into this system and I started to allow the system to focus on me and for me to focus with the system. And it changed. It was a game changer for my transformation. It gave me these steps every 3.5 days or so. I knew something that I could do to become more aligned and more empowered. And it was an awesome, and now I'm 8 years into it and I'm getting to facilitate, which I feel really excited about. But yeah, the moon is just allows us to align with the reality that we are the magic.
Yes.
We are the magic. Yeah.
We absolutely are. I think, thank you so much for that, Cheryl and Christine. It's one of the things that I have really gained from this is I grew up a Christian in a Baptist church, and spirituality has always been very important to me. But what I learned when I was a Christian, and not to, you know, that it didn't work. Like it would say, pray and ask and you'll have, right? And what I realized was that I would pray and ask and nothing would happen. I wouldn't actually get the things that I was praying for. And that really frustrated me and began to anger me as a little girl, because I really wanted to understand. Like, I felt magical. I felt like I should be able to create things out of nothing. When you're a child, before the world kicks in, there's this energy of adventure and mysticism. Like, I felt like a fairy. And as I matured and started to pray and believe in the mysteries of spirituality, and which turned into like the belief in Jesus, I realized, oh my God, I'm praying, but my prayers are not coming. I remember one time I wanted this red bike, and I just prayed and prayed and did all these things to get it, and it didn't come. And I remember it made me doubt my ability to create. It made me doubt my ability, my sense of belonging. It made me doubt the magic of the universe, that no one was hearing me. And 10 years ago, when I literally started following and studying the moon, all of a sudden my creations started and my desires started coming so rapidly that I just started to realize that, oh, I am magic. Like, I was like a 40-some-year-old woman, still like a 6-year-old girl. Like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. But I will say that I was actually grateful that it took time for me to get it, because I realized that if I had it in my 20s, I probably would have done a lot of harm to a lot of unknowing men. Like, just full of anger, I would have been like, you're cursed. So I'm glad I grew into it. I'm glad I didn't have it right away.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna share with you tonight some of the mysteries of the moon, and we're gonna just talk about some of the gateways of the moon, and how to utilize each one. And we kind of have a little bit of a, what the power of each part of the cycle is, and also a warning, one of the things that is challenging during that part of the cycle.
Yes, thank you for that. So the specific moon mystery, so we're gonna, like Christine said, we're gonna go into it, and if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and just sort of say, hey, I have a question. Okay, so let's get started. So the planning moon, the mystery power is to open our intuition. So one of the things that's so important and that I have learned using this work is that we are, as women, we're very often cut off from trusting our intuition and the signals that we get. And so this is the time when we literally use tools to open ourselves up, to commune with the universe and trust what we're being told, how we're being directed, and allow ourselves to be one with the information and the guidance that we get from our higher selves. Cheryl or Christine?
Yeah, I think this is a powerful time to also learn about trusting your intuition, right? It's about taking the time to get to know that voice and to learn how to come into alignment with what it is that your higher self is wanting for you at the very beginning of this opportunity. And so that's an important, it's really important, because you're going to align with your manifestations a lot easier and a lot smoother when you're aligned with your intuitive voice and nudge versus your ego trying to get what it wants in the process.
Yeah.
So this is
That's a really good point.
Yeah. This is an extremely potent time to get some clarity, and we're really skilled at supporting you at this point, right, in the process. And then Christine, I love how you speak to setting the intentions at the wrong time. I was listening to you earlier, and so please tell us about setting the intention.
You know, I've been using this particular set of moon phases for almost 10 years myself too. And when I learned this, it was so powerful, because you know, a lot of times, like in astrology, you learn to set your intentions at the new moon. And there's some truth to that in a way, but honestly, the way that we do these cycles, I kind of liken trying to set new intentions at the new moon like trying to plant when the ground is frozen. You know, there's a different energy that happens at the new moon. And so that's one of the biggest dangers of this time is, you know, not aligning and setting objectives at this moon phase during the planning moon. And what I noticed when I really started working with the moon cycle this way is that there is a time where you really are open to what the best objectives would be. And you know, those times where you sort of set an intention and you don't follow through with it, a lot of times that's either you've set it at the wrong time, or you've set it with your ego instead of your higher self. You've set it at a time where you don't have the same access to your intuition.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
The thing, it's the thing that's so fantastic is just really learning the key. Like, I feel like the thing that this work gives me is knowing really what to do and when to do it. And if we had grown up, you know, in ancient times, our mothers would have passed this information down to us before it became something that women were being, you know, annihilated for. So we're opening up ancient information, and I have so much confidence in my life now because I know it. It really is. It's really amazing the difference that it makes. Okay, so let's go into the next one. Thank you for that, ladies.
Could you all check to see that you're muted? I just is static in the back. Sorry, go ahead, Monique.
It's okay. The planting moon. So this is the time when you literally allow yourself to get pregnant with your desires, with the desires of your heart. And it's during the time of the moon when we don't have a lot of light. It's because, like, if you think about the womb, your womb is completely black. There is no light in it. And so in order for something to gestate, it needs to be placed in a place where it's sacred and safe and no light can get to it and you can nurture it. And so it's during this time of the moon where we will teach you how to use this planting energy. And so
and the warning in that is though, if you were in touch with your intuition at the beginning, you'd be planting at this point what was coming through. And so when we get into this phase, we are really using our emotion to put into manifestation the thing that we're focusing on. So at this point, you can put emotion behind the wrong thing. You could put emotion behind something that's not in your highest good at this point, And so it's really becoming aware of having the clarity of what it is that you want to plant, and then making sure that you're aligning the emotion behind that to get to where you're going, and that it's where you want to go, not a repeat of where you've already been at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think of that saying about worrying during this phase, like where, worrying is praying for what you don't want. And that's the danger of this phase. It's like you can use your emotional energy to create the things that you fear and that you're worried about, or you can use your emotional energy to put behind what it is that you actually desire.
Yes.
Something new.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's and it just to learn that really how to use it. I've heard all of these manifestation things before, and what I have learned from this work is that if there's not a system or a practical practice in manifestation, you can't really create what you want. We think manifestation is about getting what you want, but manifestation is about understanding that you are a creator. That's really what manifestation is, that you are a creator, and this work and this moon system aligns you with the power of the universe that is within you and without, so that you know exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it, to get the goal and get to the destination that you desire. And that's the thing that's so powerful about this, that I love about it the most. Okay, so one of my most favorite aspects of this work is the clearing moon, because when I was a teenage girl, and even in my regular life, sometimes my emotions get so bogged down that I feel like it's going to be the end of the world. You know what I mean? How many of us have had a relationship end or something, and you just felt like you can't make it to the next moment, or you have something disappointing going on with your child, or you lose a job, or just life happens, right? It's in this work at this time where we actually get to work with the stuff, the energies that are most challenging for us. And as human beings, we often run from this part of our lives, but it's in this work that we learn how to harness that energy and make it work for us. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and so the warning in that is, though, this is a difficult time, because if you're not learning how to harness the energy harnesses you. And so this is an easy time to be pulled under. And if you're not conscious of what's happening in the process, it's easy to come into a state of depression at this point, right?
Yeah.
And so that's our warning. This is a very powerful part of this process, and you've been carrying some obstacles for a long time. And so when it's time to kind of let that get cleared away, it's an opportunity to get cleared. But it's which way do you want to go with that? Do you want to be leading this for yourself, or are you going to have this part of the phase bring you down into a deeper state? And so this process helps you, right? We help you to be able to keep yourself leading the energies for yourself and learning how to feel in a way that's beneficial and healthy for your change. Yeah.
I wish I would have understood much more about the clearing phase, when I was younger.
Yeah, me too.
It would have helped, because it really, it's like it makes a huge difference how you manage your energy here.
I mean, naturally, the way that the moon goes, we are naturally cycling through this phase all the time unconsciously. And that's how we end up in repeated patterns and situations, because we don't know how to interrupt.
Yeah.
In this part of the phase, we are going to support you in interrupting the patterns that are keeping you in that cycle that's not helping. And we're going to help you to harness the natural world, right? The love of the moon doing its thing, right? Just bringing into your awareness what needs to go. It's an exciting part of the process for me. I love this part of the phase. Yeah.
Me too. It's my absolute favorite. And
Yeah.
and it's my favorite because I get to give myself permission to go into the depths of my despair and understand that I need to do that, right? It's like, as women, we need to be able to go into the dark, and we need to be able to do it fearlessly and almost and willingly in order to get the jewels of it. And so that's why I love this part. Okay. Thank you. So the next part is what we like to call the gathering moon. And remember, these are all different phases. They move pretty quickly because the moon moves fast. Every month we're in a new cycle. So every month we're going to be following the new moon and the full moon. Wherever the new moon and the full moon is, we're going to be giving you the processes and the steps to do this. And so at the gathering moon is when we move into like this Oshun energy, this very lover, very beautiful, sensual, sexual, yes, yes, yes. Like, and because that energy is, it's where you bring joy into the process. After coming out of that very dark energy, you like, okay, let me come back to life, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're sometimes, to me, it feels like we're seducing we're gathering to us, right? We're calling to us. We are having this very flirtatious relationship with what it is that we're stepping into next. And it's very powerful to bring dance, right? To be able to move with our wombs. It's a great time to activate rituals because we're really wanting to literally shapeshift into the spaces that we're moving into. So it's becoming very fluid, very flowing, opening our minds are now opening our hearts and our bodies to really embody. We're gathering into us.
Yes.
However, Christine, what happens at this phase sometimes?
Well, here's the challenge.
No.
For some people, okay, here's the two things I see. People don't want to stop clearing. They want to just keep going. It's like, but once you empty yourself out, there's space for something new. And this is where you're practicing something new. And it's a really juicy, sensual time. And the biggest danger here is that you start saying no to what is actually trying to birth through you instead of being open to it, affirming it, feeling joy around it, kind of trusting the process because you might not know what it looks like yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we don't know. In our fear might want to grab us one more time. Hey, where are you going? You're on the edge.
Yes. Yeah. One of the things that I find that's so fascinating about this work is like being willing to let go of our old stories, right? So I remember when I started doing this work, I really had an old story around, being abandoned by my mother, being abandoned by my father, or sort of a heartbreak or whatever. Like I had old stories, and I had to really convince myself to let those stories go and understand that those stories were blocking my ability to have what I really wanted and what I really desired. And it's this time of the energy where it's like, no matter what you think, no matter who you think did you wrong, no matter who you think hurt your feelings, you are going to get up and dance. You are going to get up and celebrate because you're breathing. Because, you know what I mean? It's like really giving yourself the opportunity to go into a new experience for that new reality. And this is the time that really shows up. And I just love it. It's one of my favorite times. And one of the members of the work who's been doing the work with us, she is a belly dance teacher. She might be on the call now. And I just love, like, she really embodies this lover thing, this gathering energy that is so sensual and juicy. And that's a part of womanhood. It's a part of the power of our creation, to be women, to be sensual, to be sexual, to be like honey, to be like bees to honey. And we need to understand how to use those energies in creating what we desire, being the bee, the honey to the bee, or the bee to the honey. That's a part of our power.
And this is feminine energy. So this can be embodied in a man or a woman, right?
Yes.
It's accessing that feminine energy and then allowing it to take this shape, whether we're a man or a woman, and letting ourselves be fluid and flowing at this point.
There are, 4 of these are sort of masculine mysteries and 4 of them are sort of feminine mysteries. So there's both.
Yes. Yeah. It is a mystery.
Yes, it
See,
is.
Monique, yes. Yeah.
Yes, the seeing moon. So the thing that's also that I mean, the greatest gift that I have gotten from doing this work is really my intuition and my psychic abilities are on point. Like if I told you guys some of the things that I see, you guys would be like, okay, don't tell us. Like I knew that Trump was going to be elected. I knew he was going to win. And it's because I could feel the frequency of the country shifting. And it's only because of this moon work. And so the seeing phase is the part that literally gives us the opportunity to see what's coming, and learning how to cultivate that and trust that and practice with it. Sometimes you're going to see stuff that you're like, damn, I shouldn't have seen that, because now I'm totally freaked out. But it's so interesting that I saw that thing happen. I saw it happening in the collective consciousness, and then I knew it was going to happen, and I made some choices, and my friends were really angry because I was saying what was going to happen. But now 2.5 years later, they're all coming back going, you knew it. And I was like, well, I knew it because of the moon. I knew it because of this work. And I had the confidence to do what I needed to do for myself. One of the people that I know that is the most perceptive that I know is Cheryl, who is here right now. This woman, like you guys, this woman can see stuff that, Lord have mercy. Like,
No, yes, that's true. And the other thing for me in the seeing phase, because I am very matrix, that's one of my gifts, is I can see into the matrix, I can see in the blind spot. But one of the practical ways the seeing moon shows up for me is I also get ideas come to me. I see potentials for things. I track what it is that is coming to me, right? I also get signs from nature. I get more like a signature animal might come in and visit me. So there's many ways that the omens and the signs will come to me, and they can be very practical. Like I might have a list of 4 or 5 things that I saw that I'm going to have to take action on, and I actually have to discern which one am I going to follow? What thing came to me that I'm going to take some action on? So it's very broad. It's very nature-based sometimes, and then it's very practical, inspired ideas and actions sometimes.
Yeah, I always feel like I get the seeing phase is when I get downloads, is like how it feels.
Yeah.
It's just like it's when the ideas come, I get like pictures fully formed in my head. Synchronicity happens, symbols, like all of that, really being open to that. It's a time when there's so much information that comes through.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and then the challenge.
Because we can receive.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. You're on it.
I was going to say the challenge with this is not being open to the symbolism, not actually recognizing when something is a sign during this time, because there's really you really have to be open. You really have to be, it's kind of an expansive phase.
Yes, it is. And
I mean, the signs can be on a bus. You can see a bus, or an animal can show up in front of you. It could be a butterfly, or an idea runs through your head while you're taking a shower, or you hear a song, or someone says something, or it's really a time to see with your eyes, to hear with your ears, to feel with that in your intuition.
Yes.
Because there's so many opportunities. The universe will serve you up in whatever way it can. It doesn't have a closed channel. It will begin just to send to you in any open portal, anything that your frequency is aligned to. So it's really about paying attention. And like Christine said, when you don't heed it, you're losing traction to where you're going. You're missing, like, I was supposed to take a left and I took a right. Yikes. And so the map just gets a little bit wider, a little bit squirrely, or whatever it is that happens, that you get a little bit off in the direction.
Yeah, and I think trust is the muscle that you're really working during this phase.
Yeah.
That's really powerful. I mean, I think one of the other things about this phase that helps me is that it is that trusting, like, because you will see evidence. Like, the trust isn't anchored in sand. The trust is anchored in, like, oh, I was told to do this thing, I did it, and look at the evidence of it. Like, it really becomes this, you have this relationship with the universe that works. It's almost like you ask for something and you'll get it. And it's because you're in the rhythm of the phases and the cycles. It just makes such a huge difference. I mean, I can't tell you the things that, the way my life is ordered now, I could not have done it on my own. Like, there's just so many, we all know that our lives have so many details. It's like bills you have to pay, your children need to be fed, you need to exercise, you need to sleep, you need to call this, you need to visit your mother. All these sort of things are always needing to get done. And there's really no way to have your life be entirely harmonious if you're not working some system that really does add magic and flow, so that you are where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, even if you tried to go the other way. You know what I mean? This is the system that does that. It really does work that way, and it's pretty profound. Okay, so the beautiful thing also about this system is that it's designed so that you do internal work, which is your feminine internal work, and then that you then move out and do the external work, which is the masculine. So every phase of the moon, the first 4 phases cover the internal work for the feminine, so that you are strengthening and harnessing your feminine energy. And then the second 4 phases cover the masculine, so that you are then harnessing your masculine energy. The leading phase is, the power of this phase is owning the one thing that you will do without hesitation. So whatever your goal is, whatever your desire is, at some point you get to the place where it's like I said, you can't figure it all out, because that's just not how it works. But you can trust that there's one thing that I'm going to do no matter what. And that is the one thing that the universe has told me to do, that will help me anchor in, that will help me feel aligned, that will help me access magic. And you're going to do that thing no matter what. And that is the beginning of your masculine power, because that is the masculine energy, which is more linear, which is more directive, which is more focused, and it's more outside of it's a more external experience. And so this is the phase where you start getting clear about the actions that you're going to take.
Yes.
Yep.
Requires courage.
Yeah.
Without courage, you can become afraid to stay committed to the changes, because the only thing your ego is going to notice is what you're leaving behind, or what might not come, or whatever it is, right? And so this is where fear can come back in. And that's the warning here, that you could become afraid to commit to what it is that you said you want to experience yourself as in this brand new way. And so the owning of this is how we support you in having the courage to move without hesitation.
Yeah, it's really, when you shift from the feminine work to the masculine work, which is the pivot happens at this phase, it's when people want to stop. And so it's really, it's like there's really you have to use your will here and really commit to taking the action, what you've planted, what you've worked on. All right.
Yep, it does. It requires courage and being seen and being in the commitment. And the difference between the feminine and the masculine is just the feminine is all about being. It's about being in a state of just being. And then the masculine is all about doing, right? We're coming out now, and we're going to put structure around all of those things that we said that we were going to align with. All those spaces that we want to know ourselves in, we're going to start to put structures around them. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. That's perfect. So the other thing that I haven't said yet, but that I want to add, is that the moon phases, every phase of the moon is connected to a planetary body, like Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter. And so as you're doing this work, you're embodying all of those energies, which really cover, like, as human beings, we really are very impacted by the astrology, whether we know it or not. So we add the astrology piece in to really help you know yourself, to help you get clear about who you are and how you function. So the doing phase is this aspect of, oh, I'm sorry about that. The doing phase is when we move ourselves into fully taking action and doing exactly what needs to be done in order for us to create what it is that we desire.
This is the full moon. This is when, people, there's a reason that things play out during the full moon the way that they do. It's people are filled with this power to act. It's why, hospitals staff extra police officers, there's extra police officers on duty. People are filled with this momentum. And when it's not channeled, it wreaks a lot of havoc.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, and this is also the time when we sort of lose courage or that you lose courage because, you have to commit to the thing that you want. Like, so I remember once I wanted to meet somebody. There was a man in my space that I wanted to date, and I wanted to use a moon cycle to draw him in without, like, being obvious. and so I had to then do things that, I had to be more open-hearted. I had to smile more. I had to, show up in a way that felt attractive to me, so that I felt good inside of myself, to be sensual, to be sexual, to be available. And I had to commit to it, even though I felt like maybe he doesn't like me, but when I commit to it, when you commit to the thing that you desire, your energy then literally opens up the possibilities. And when I used this energy to draw this man in, by the end of this cycle, he and I were dating, and we ended up dating for 4 years, which is really pretty profound. But I remember feeling so unsure about being able to sort of own that I really wanted to meet him, own that I really wanted him to take actions, and then I was going to step out in that way. And so this is the time when we really give ourselves permission to go in there and get it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so
ask for the raise.
Yes, exactly.
Right, apply for the new job.
Yeah. So the using phase is governed by Mercury. And like I said, every phase is governed by a planet, and all of those sort of things will be introduced in the initiation period over this, throughout the experience, so that you'll have a better understanding. But the using phase is really understanding how do we celebrate our accomplishments? How do we embody our new realities? How do we, you have to live into a reality before it actually comes. You have to feel like it's here before you actually see it sometimes. It's almost like when you're pregnant, because this phase really goes along with the ovulation cycle and getting pregnant. So this is when you are, 8 or 9 months pregnant, and you start decorating the baby's room and buying clothes because you know that baby is coming. And even though the baby's not here yet, you're going to start acting as if, and getting your life ready and making sure that everything is coming. And so we do that every month. There's a time during the month when we're literally like, I know that what I'm desiring is here already. Even though I don't see it, I'm committed to it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to tell other people about it. I'm going to share. I'm going to, go to sleep every night dreaming myself into that reality. And so this becomes a part of a practice that you are living in your life on a daily basis. And before you know it, you literally are living in the reality that you have desired. this initiation work is not just about, you know, aligning yourself to the moon, but it is about birthing a reality that you desire. And that's what the initiation is about. It's about literally giving birth to a new reality, and um, and stepping into it as if it's already here. And stepping into it as if it's already here, even if it hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah, that's kind of the danger of this phase. A lot of times, it's where people kind of lose hope, or they start to notice what's not happening instead of what is happening. And so the danger with this one is not being willing to affirm the new reality just because you can't see it exactly yet.
Yeah. So, does anyone have any questions?
Hello, I have a question.
Yes.
So you mentioned all these different moons. How do we know where those moons are on the calendar? Like, do they match up to like, oh, this is the void moon, and therefore it is one of these labels? Like, how do you know how to identify what moon you're in?
So in the initiation, we teach you all of that, like how to identify the moon that you're in, when to use it. We also teach you where the new moon is and the full moon, the energies that you should be focused on. So like this month we had a new moon in Virgo and a full moon in Pisces. So how does that align in your life? Because we all have every sign within us, all of those energies are within us. So as we're going through this phase or this cycle every month, we're teaching you exactly where the moon is, how to use it, what to do, how to focus your energy, you know, what things you should focus on, what things you shouldn't focus on. We teach you all of that.
Okay, got it.
And then we also, sorry about that, we also, Cheryl, do you want to talk about the elements, please?
Yeah, of course. So we have a way to support you in staying clear of all those warnings that we just gave you. And so I specifically work with the elements, the 4 elements: water, air, fire, and earth. And those are the elements that creation is made up of. That's the energies of, and also the ethers, right? So we can do a ritual and stay in touch with where we are in our process by having connection to the elements. And these elements show up in every phase of the moon. They show up in your astrology, right? They show up in your manifestation. So when we are connected to our air, we're connected to our breath and the energy of our mind. When we're working with our fire, we're connected to our digestive tract and in our energy, right? Our pleasures, our ability to be transformative, our sensuality, our sexuality, our creativity. When we're in touch with the earth, we're in touch with our body, our actual physical health and well-being. When we're in touch with water, we're in touch with the blood that's flowing through our veins, the water that makes up our body, that Monique said we have 80% water in our brain. And so when we are moving through these phases, we're going through these ebbs and flows and we're making changes. And there's something that you can do every day to stay in touch with whatever element has the greatest influence, or where you might be out of balance, and how do you bring yourself back into balance by deepening through a ritual or a ceremony with one of the elements. And so one of the things that you will get daily is some way for you to focus so that you can bring these elements that you are naturally made up to back into balance. And when we are always harmonizing with the universe in this way, we're keeping ourselves in alignment with the phases of the moon. So I will every day be offering something for you to be doing to make sure that your own elements are in alignment and they're harmonizing and they're supporting you in achieving your success. Yeah. Any questions? Yeah, it's fun. I love the elements. They're the thing that allows me to kind of relax into the process, because they're always a quick go-to that can set me straight, so to speak.
Yes, I love the elements. They are, and so the thing that I love about the elements is that when we understand our astrology, we get to see how the elements play out, and how, like, if you take, for instance, if you're Pisces, like you get to understand your relationship to water, and that water is a living consciousness. It is alive. That everything in the universe, all of these things are alive, just like we are. They just communicate in a different way. And the more we open up to that, it begins to shift and change your life in ways that you wouldn't even think are possible, but it does. It's pretty profound how that happens.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, sometimes when people have issues with anger, we're working with the water and the fire in their bodies. And when we understand that, there's things that we can specifically do to come into a healthy balance with all of those elements for that change. Excuse me, I need to get some water.
Okay. Okay, so let's start. The initiation actually will begin on September 21st. We will be taking you through an entire year, 365 days. It starts the 21st of 2019 and it will end the 20th of 2020. Because this is an initiation, there will be things that you will be required to do. Initiation means that you are going to submit yourself to the guidelines, to the practices, and you're going to do your best, right? So this is not about perfection. This is about doing your best, your commitment to yourself. This is not about your commitment to me or your commitment to Cheryl or your commitment to Christine. This is about you opening up your own life in ways that our Western culture just doesn't allow us to do it. And so within this initiation, every month we're going to focus on a vital part of our lives, and we're going to do ritual around it. We do a planting moon meditation. We do a full moon meditation. We have conversations and rituals around the energies and the qualities that we are working to embody. There will be a live Facebook group with daily guidance. Like I said, every month I'm at least two meditations and a conversation, and daily interactions with Cheryl and Christine and the entire group of people who are there. We have a woman here. Renika, are you here? She has been in the class for this past year. If you could come in and talk about how it's changed your life and helped you, I would love that.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. Hi, Renika.
Hi. So let's see. So I believe I started with the Moon Manifestation group actually last December. So it's been about 9 months. And initially, I didn't really quite understand, to be honest, we're in the moon cycles and all of that, but something kind of just magically clicked for me, and maybe it had to do with just being a part of the conversation, kind of being available to receiving the guidance that Monique that you provided over a series of months. And I think most importantly, how it's benefited me is just having a heightened awareness of influences over my emotions and my psyche that I never really knew existed. There's something very, I think, honestly liberating, I think, in having the information that we get, particularly when it comes to the location of the moon and the in the, or what the different astrological signs where the moon is landed. And I guess that never really understanding and never really having a clue of the energetic influences over my experiences. And so I basically lived my 45 years on earth just being at the whim of whatever seems to kind of just flow in my experience. And a lot of which has been dark, a lot of which has been, kind of like, I don't know, kind of lost, kind of just wondering and not really having any idea of, of the influences that are over my life. And I think for myself, because, I'm a sober alcoholic and drug addict. And so there's something about like the whole 12-step process that allows me to start to get a glimpse of my programming. But there's something about this work that allows me to dive deeper. And I'm always searching for like a deeper understanding of my truth. And the work allows me to continue to peel layers that, because I did all kind of meditation classes and, like I think that I've done a lot, on this journey of spiritual development and transformation. But the work that I've been able to participate in, and I regret that I tuned in a little late to tonight's talk, because I don't think I've ever really gotten a comprehensive understanding of like all the different cycles of the moon. So I'm hoping this is going to be archived so I can look at the
this is
entire
totally
thing.
recorded. Absolutely.
Oh my God. So I was listening and now I'm on fire. Like I am so excited. Like,
Right. I know it's life changing. And I'm so Renika, thank you so much, because it's like you said, it's something just clicks and your life just starts to synchronize in this way because you have this rhythm. And so I'm so grateful that you have been here, and I love supporting you. And it means so much to see you have the evidence of your life changing. And like Renika's story is deep, right? And so we won't share it all here, but this stuff really changes your life. There have been women in the group who were in abusive relationships that shifted, the whole relationship changed, or they were in jobs that they had been in for 30 years that they couldn't get out of, and they started new businesses. Like, it's life changing. So I just really thank you so much, Renika. And I wanted to,
my pleasure.
thank you. I don't want to keep everyone any much longer. So I want you to know that today, if you register today, the class itself is $97 per month for all the things that we offered. And, we spend that on getting our hair done or getting our nails done once a month. And this work is going to change your life and give you access to something that you didn't have access to before. But if you register tonight, you can use the code Moon Mama and you'll get the first month for $25. So your first month starting on the 21st will be $25, and then the next month it'll go to $97, and you will have had a month of being in the room with us and seeing how it works and being able to reap the benefits of this incredible practice and the incredible coaching that is Cheryl, Christine, and myself, and a community of people who are doing this work together. Here's the thing about our work. It's like we all go together or we don't go at all. And when we're doing this work with other people, other women who are committed, it is profound how much difference it makes in your life. So does anyone have another question? Or I don't want to keep us. I think
you have another slide.
I do have. Let's see. I have another slide. Okay, great. Okay,
yeah, I think you do.
Yes, here I do. So
oh yeah, that's the one that has code on it.
So here is the slide where it's saying it's $97 per month. If you use this code and this bit link, bit.ly/moonmama 2020, you can register for the upcoming course for the first month for $25. And for those of you who might be enrolled in other programs here, like Wakanda, you will be able to participate in the entire year for $47 per month if you're registered in other programs that are partnered with this program.
Nice.
All right. So if anybody
That's
has
awesome.
any,
Yeah.
I know. So thank you guys so much. This is our first thing like this. So we're excited and we love, but we've been
Yes,
doing
we're
this
excited.
work for years. And all I can say is this work changes your life. That's all I can say. Like I don't even, all I said is when I was a little girl, I just wanted to be able to do magic. That's all I wanted to do. Then somebody told me I should get married, and somebody told me I should have children, and I got distracted. But after I got married and after I had a child, I came back to my deepest desire, and my deepest desire was magic. And I found this system, and my life is full of magic. And I cannot tell you how you guys. My life is full of magic. Okay, it's not full of pain and depression and despair. It's totally full of magic. And if you guys want that, come work with us. We would love to have you. Christine, Cheryl, you want to say anything before we go?
I just wanted to
you.
say I'm really excited to work with both of you. I'm so excited for the people who are going to be joining us this year. I am going to be supporting in the way of, I'm kind of like a, I don't know, I like to call myself like a systems nerd. I know so many systems, and I'm really good at pinpointing exactly what your work is right now. I will be there in the room to support you with astrology, you know, where this cycle is for you. And I'm looking forward to it. So I hope you take advantage of the special tonight.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
we love you,
everyone. I hope to see you. Hope to see you on the other side.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.